is where and what exposure you guys have had to DocuSign. So I'm gonna kind of go around the room, and if I could get you guys in the Zoom to put in the chat, have you ever used DocuSign before, and answer the question yes or no? Check.
I've only used Docker.
Okay, never used DocuSign before.
Brand spanking new. I've played around.
Okay. Okay, never. Okay, I know the answer for you. All right, let me look in the good gravy. Yes, Howie. Okay, let's see who's in here. Yes, recently I've logged in and tested it, but not really used it. Once I signed in, my apartment contractor was just a signer. Okay, so some of these responses are very important. Next question. Have you set DocuSign up in Command?
Don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes. I don't think so.
Okay. All right, let's see. Yes, 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 twice. All right, yes, yes, and it works much better now that I have all the docs in there. Yes, it does. Okay, so another item of housekeeping. For those of you who have not set it up, this is the part where I will go ahead and take a walk around the room really quickly. If you have a computer. No. Oh, okay.
Anytime I Docusign, I had to call Lord Tyler walk me through it.
Okay. So I need to figure out how to get you at least to look at your account. So all right, so I'm going to demystify a couple things really quickly. The way that you get to, I'm going to not type on my computer thinking that I'm typing up there first, okay? Everybody didn't see that, right? Nobody saw it. So agent.kw.com is command. And does anybody know where you actually access DocuSign from when you get to command? Show of hands. Who can answer the question? Everybody come with me. It's a trip. Come on. Oh God, y'all are about to witness me hopefully remembering my password. Okay, good time. So let me say a couple of things about DocuSign. DocuSign is just a place where you get signatures. Everybody hear me one more time. DocuSign is just the place where you get signatures. Command is the place where you will put those documents in for compliance to get paid. They are separate. They are absolutely separate, but connected if you utilize command first. Now, let's take a look. I've got to figure out how to doc this thing in a way where I can see people. Okay. Or you guys can just let me know. All right. So up here at the top, when you're on your home screen for command, in order to make sure that you're connected to DocuSign, I'm going to whiz through this. We will make sure that everybody is set up. If you are not set up in the chat, I just want you to watch, and perhaps maybe you can follow along and do this on your own screen. Put us in the tiny screen here. If you see the connected applications, DocuSign will come up first. And you can see my status is connected. I am not disconnecting my account. I love you. Now, for those of you who said you have used DocuSign before, there is a potential error that you may have because you have signed in using the email that you're trying to use right now. It will not work unless you call DocuSign and have them release that. I don't recommend it. Use another email.
So don't use your KW email?
No, please use your KW email, but here's the problem. If you have used your KW email, let's just say my lenders have been sending me, I've been with KW since 2010. So of course I signed in on their DocuSign account. Of course I have documents that have been sent through DocuSign. The most common error when you go to set this up is that your account cannot be authenticated because it exists somewhere else in a signer's profile, not the KW profile. So if you've had the history, and this is, I'm trying to get ahead of something. If you're not set up and you're listening to me in this class, if you have ever used DocuSign, you may have to use a different email. It's not going to affect anything, okay? It's going to affect where the DocuSign, once everything is signed, it's going to affect where the notifications come. So if you have an email that you can use, if you cannot use the KW email or whatever email that you're using. So let's just say you're on a team and you use, I sell homes team one, at gmail.com. If you've used that before, you may be precluded from using it when you sign up. I'm going to show you right here. Lisa Warfield at kw.com had been in use before. When I went to authorize this, I had to then use my other KW email for the Warfield group. Both of those emails go to the same email. If anybody in the chat has had this issue, can you please tell me now? Amy, if you can.
I'm pulling a chat.
Yep.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
If we are connected in the system,
Yes, ma'am.
it's showing my email as BW. That means
You're good. If you see this, you're good. If you see two other buttons that say authorize and resend email, this could be the issue that you're having. So is everybody in this room connected that has a computer? Okay, and it looks good like this. All right, so we're gonna move on. So really quickly, just bare bones. I'm not gonna go through a whole contacts thing, but I want you all to know how to navigate command. So if you click on the red KW at the top, it brings up, these are called applets. Okay, and when you are looking to navigate your way through command, the purpose of it is to have everything all in one place. So if I use an opportunity, which gets me to DocuSign, everybody hearing me? That gets me to DocuSign. I do not go out and log into DocuSign rooms. I don't do any of that. I get to DocuSign from command. Okay. So if I'm using an opportunity, that contact must be in my contacts. Everybody under the sound of my voice, please enter yourself into your own database. Make sure that you are a contact in your own database, because what you can do is any class that I teach, you can go back or you can go during the class and practice on your stuff so that you can see everything, so that you can see it as the client would see it. These are the questions that we don't often answer in class because we're looking at it from the agent perspective. But we want to do a full view of how things are disseminated out from the agent. So you definitely want to see that, right? So as long as I am in, I think I'm in here under Warfield, I have a few of these set up. Let's just go under my last name. Seriously, did I spell my name wrong? Good time. Slower, go slower. Or am I? Okay, come on. Seriously.
Mine does this too, and it doesn't.
Yeah, I tell you what, for me, I don't ever know if I put my whole name in there, but I did. See that? So my whole convoluted legal name is Lisa Thames Warfield. So I'm set up in here as a contact. I'm even set up in here with my KW email. This means something when you're looking at a team. Let me be really specific. I have 2 opportunities set up that I've done for myself. So for the purposes of class, I want you guys to see how this kind of connects and works, okay? So I'm actually going to see if either of these opportunities are connected. Let's see, this one is probably connected to Docusign. I have a few of these, I call them crash test dummies. So this is my opportunity. The first thing that goes is the contact. When I have my contact in, I create my opportunity. Again, I want you guys to realize that this happens over time. If you just met a client and they are not quite a contact yet or quite ready yet, these people would not be the ones that you'd be putting in your opportunities unless you actually had tags. Like say you met somebody and they're 3 months out. They could sit in your opportunities and cultivate at that very first stage, which is good, based on your conversation. You wouldn't be doing anything with them. Contact, opportunity, then contract is where Docusign comes in. So very carefully, you want to make sure, oh, let me take an elephant out of the room. For those of you who are on Zoom, the commissions tab did update today. If you haven't seen it, they combined offers and commissions. There's a very small nuance change. Nobody freak out. Once you click on accept the offer where commissions used to light up, now you click on manage commission in order to see your commission tab. It's just not separated, they've just combined it. Still the same format, still looks the same, it's just a different way of getting to it. We'll go over that in another class, probably send out a quick little video blurb. Okay, so hope like heck that Lisa didn't connect this to W. So when you have this code, it's gonna say start transaction right here. It's gonna be a black button that says start a transaction. If you are not connected to Docusign or .loop, it's gonna be gray. So when you go back and you're like admins and have teams, if they're not set up, that's gonna be the quickest way for you to know that it's not correct. Like if they come to you and say, I can't do it, that's usually gonna be the reason. If it's grayed out, they're not set up. You'll have to go back in like I did them settings and go forward. So if I click on go to transaction, please go to Docusign. It's like cracks. I told you guys I have a lot of crash test dummies in there. And this is Lisa remembering her password again. Good time. She needs to remember her name too. Docusign has a profile as well, guys. And you want to make sure that your Docusign profile is set up. None of the KW stuff drags over to that profile. So like your profile photo, your phone number, your business company, and all that other stuff, when you first set it up, go ahead and set those details up. Those are going to be important later. Not necessarily right now. God, I hope I can remember my password. 3, 4. When did we set up Docusign? That was 2019, wasn't it? I went in. Yes, ma'am.
So when I click go to transaction and I select Docusign, I get a red bar at the top that says, please reattempt to create your Docusign where the issue says connect to Docusign. Click reconnect to Docusign within settings.
So go to settings. Amy's on her way.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Is that living at kw.com? And that's the one it should be. And if she's in her team profile, would that present an issue if she had connected as personal?
Docusign is, gonna take her, it's not even associated with the team, none of that even matters.
How we have to set up.
Correct.
Were you already in an opportunity? So when we were doing this just now, I created one under my name.
I wish I could play the Jeopardy music for everybody while I find my password, but I'm not getting locked out, so I apologize. Anybody got this?
Start singing.
That sounds like your admin job.
Look, the Jeopardy music, believe me. Why not?
This is a meeting,
This is a class.
class, meeting.
It could be important. Send it past that block, so now.
Yeah.
Try to go to transactions. Pop up window block. And then in that case.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
You probably already know how to allow, and I would just go in and set it to where it always allows the pop-ups for commands.
Okay, so I logged in from a new device and Docusign does have two-step verification. And it is now going to send me an email with the, that I logged into the new device.
And while you're doing that, Lisa, I believe Michelle was the one who the other day when we were trying to get in, it took her straight to .loop because she had connected it. I figured out why. Okay.
Correct, because she didn't have Docusign as the connection. She only had, if you only have one connected, it'll go straight to that
Straight to
one.
it.
So the other one will give you a drop down to toggle between the two.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I hit the Docusign.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Oh, good gravy, what am I in? Okay, let's not confuse anybody. These are my Ohio documents, but. All right, so this takes me to the room. I labeled this a listing. What I'd like to show everybody is that, let's just pretend those forms aren't there. And I want to take my listing appointment and I want to, Amy.
I haven't
Named
made
it
it say
listing tab.
Kentucky yet. I'm going
Okay.
to, yeah.
All right.
So eventually that will say KY listing
Yep.
and then IN.
Yep, all good. But all of my documents that are fillable are now here. Now I can do something really cool like, select all and then go ahead and add these documents. What you want to notice that when you get this all loaded up,
Yeah, but we're hit. So give me the option. Oh. There too. Give me the option. Okay, yeah, and then she went up to groups. Okay, choose group. Choose group. Okay. So Docusign can replace .loop, right?
absolutely.
I do .loop. I just start a new loop in .loop and then load everything and then send everything out from there.
Mhm.
But this is just another way to do it. How did you,
We'll go right back and I'll show you.
like, how do you pull up a bunch of new documents? Like, say you have a listing or something.
That's exactly what we just did. So you're in the document section.
Right.
Let me go back one step. You see this little tab that says details? Fill out as much of this as you can. So details, so if you have the seller, which this is a listing, so you'll click on edit, and it's gonna make all these fields live. Here's the fun part. If you start an opportunity, it's just from the contact name, it's gonna carry that over into the room. This is where you're gonna change it. Instead of it being me, you're gonna do 123 Main Street, whatever the address is, because compliance wants to see the address. Now, compliance is not gonna be in your room. They will have access to it, but they're not looking in your room. Like when you had to clean up your loops and .loop, compliance is not gonna be doing that. I'll show you that step next.
So if we're making this up, and we're just playing around, we can type in whatever we want.
Oh, yeah.
It makes no difference. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. I'm encouraging encouraging you guys to click on as much as you can, do as much as, you want. But if you take a look over here, all of the information for the parties to the contract are in here. I set myself up as the client. I'm the seller. If I have a husband, he would go there. You can put in as much of this as you want. Let me tell you why. Docusign eventually will start to fill out your forms for you based on what's in the form. The AI that we've set up with Command, when I say we, agents are setting this up with our feedback. So every time we want something, we go to ideas.kw.com and we build it as agents. You guys know that? You guys know that you are actually creating the technology as it goes. So when there's a change to the technology, it's not somebody saying, oh, we need this. It's actually the agent saying we need this. So when a change is made, that is where it's coming from, how agents run their business. Kind of cool, right? So you can kind of say you're a technology expert now, right? I know, it's scary, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So at the, whenever you put in everything that you want in there, you'll go ahead and click save. And again, get in as many of the details as you can, as that will carry through on the forms eventually. It's not there right now. I just want to let you know what's coming. Okay? It will get easier as we go along. So if I want documents to go in this room, there are a couple of different ways that I can do that. I want you to pay attention up here. At the very top of the screen next to Docusign Rooms, I have Dashboard, which will take me out of this room. I have Rooms, which will show me all of the rooms as well. I have this inbox. This is another step that you may want to get set up. This does this kind of for you. Docusign has its own email for you. This is where you can find it. So if you click on inbox, how I compare this is, do you guys remember that you can email .loop your documents? Did you ever use that feature? If you didn't, I'm not going to muddy the waters. You can email. So say you're working with an agent that doesn't work with Docusign or that does still work with .loop and is attached to the PDF. You can literally take this email and forward your document into Docusign. Pretty cool, right? So that you're not downloading and uploading, you're not crisscrossing, and those things will literally go, because that's what this is, into my inbox. I emailed this to myself. This is, you see what it says when you hover over it? This is your inbox email address. Any document sent to this address will be added to your inbox. And if I want that document to go anywhere, I select it. I can make a copy of it. I can email it. I can download it. I can move it. And where I want to move it, see where it says?
So a room, like each client you have would have their own room, right?
Correct.
Each deal. Okay. So room would be a deal.
Room and loop are the exact same thing.
Okay.
So if I wanted that document to go to one of my active rooms, see how it shows where my active rooms are? So I wanted it to go there, and now I'll move it. Now, mind you, that is not the room we're in. I'm not going to go find that, but yeah. My docs, again, this is if you guys have created any personal things. I don't know what happened. Atlanta Partners bombed our, this is happening all over the country. So if you see this, don't worry about it. It's being worked on. It's hilarious because this happens to be my best friend in Georgia's market center. Well, it was, she moved market center. It's crazy. So let's move on. Totally interesting. Okay, I'm
I
going back to
just
room.
changed the names because I realized that Libby had access to something that's a KY folder already, and that might be another market center.
Yeah,
that
in
you may
Kentucky.
need contacts from. So I put KY 783 purchase packet and then KY 783 listing packet, so that you
Perfect.
can always know which market center you're
Yeah,
driving.
that actually works really good for me.
Yes, perfect.
Because. Yep. Mhm. All right, so. I clicked on rooms up here, I moved from inbox, and this is showing me all of my rooms. So if you were using .loop and you click import, your loops are gonna show up over here too. These are all my old loops. I didn't do a thing. They just showed up one day.
So will mine from will
Do you see
mine-
the year on this?
So will my .loop just show up in here one day? Or can I
If
transfer?
you click import,
Okay.
Sarah may have done that. Because this is from when we did this in 2019. And Command had a spot called Legacy. It is not doing that anymore. I do know that there is some kind of they're working on something right now, because right now the issue that I had with somebody in a meeting that I had a little bit ago was no pipelines are coming up at all if you click on the import. And it's because we've cut off the relationship with .loop, but they're trying to find a workaround right now. So if you're still using it, our market center is still using .loop, which is why you have the choice. That will go away eventually, but I want to show you some more cool stuff about Docusign right now. Amy, is there anything in the chat?
Nope, but
Okay.
actually, it just popped in. Hang on just a second. Can you please go over the inputting loops into Docusign, specifically how to do it? That's from Eli.
Hey, Eli. So if I go to opportunities, and it literally should just be something that pops up. I think mine is gone, so I'm not sure if I can actually show it, but it may, let me see.
Like one of those guys, the guide builder type thing. Oh, here it is.
Right here. Select of your command pipelines to send to. So if you click on, but mine is already imported. Oh, great, fantastic. Here we go. All right, so, well, this is the thing that you guys are not going to see unless you're in 2 market centers. So please don't be confused by my screen. I apologize.
So I could just hit that importing from .loop profile.
Mhm.
Cool.
I have 2 profiles, and that's what it's asking me. But this is not working. This is the very thing that I was telling you was not working. Select one of your command pipelines to send to. Okay, so we have to select. Let's see, Louisville East, Warfield Group. Oh, this is gonna be fun. If it works, I'm gonna like freak out. No, I mean like if it's working, and I was just talking to somebody.
So it looks like we're gonna select 25.
Yep, looky there.
Woohoo!
It is working. All right, so crash test dummies and old transactions alike. Look at that.
So talk to us about loops, like importing those in. Do we need all of them? Do we need just the active one? What do you suggest?
Okay, so take a look here at the date. This is going to be about how you want to run your business and what you want to have access to. So I don't know. Is it important for a buyer that you sold the house to 4 or 5 years ago to have their file and their information? Somebody tell me, is that important to you? And why?
Here's my question.
Yes,
Let's say that buyer goes to relist their house, right?
yeah.
And they call you to do that, but at that time, you'll always have access to the loops you created at one time. You can't do new stuff, is that right? So we can go back
Right,
and
so
pull that in a moment, right?
So for now, the answer is yes and no, I think. The reason why you want to go ahead and put them in the DocuSign room is so that you will continue to have access with them without fail. Okay, so I would do the import. If you have some really old files, like I've got one that I've got archived files here from 2017, 2013, 2014, 2015. Yeah, some of these people might be ready to sell. That would be the reason why I would want them anyway. But it's also for your own record keeping. And yes, I don't think your .loop profile is going away. Access to it and how you utilize it is what's going to change. So if you wanted to continue to access those documents after the market center is no longer using .loop, that would come at a cost, is what I understand. Is that correct, Amy?
It is, and so .loop is telling us that yes, you will always have access to your loops, you just won't be able to create new ones. However, there are market centers that have already switched over and saw some random issues, and they identified those as that it's usually with an admin that was added to a team, they wouldn't have access. But because of the unreliability of it, I would bring them over. And just so you know too, at the end of February is when we planned for .loop to go away. That may be extended, we'll let you know. But I am doing a backup of all of our loops too. So if it was a matter of like a legal case or something where we needed to get into it, we will have a way to do that. Because we will be syncing a backup for many months.
Yes.
I tried to do mine, it said error occurred and it won't let me.
Yep.
Is that what it was doing before?
Yep.
So what is?
Okay. I've got an error here. 0 loops imported successfully. 0 loops cannot be imported. 2 loops have fields that need to be manually reviewed. Review now. Oh, I see. That is pretty sneaky. So, you know how we had people that named loops after people and not after street addresses? So I just tried to import my form that doesn't have it. It's not named a street address. So that's why I could not get this over. I wonder if this is what the colleague had a problem with.
It's doing that, even the ones that were named an address.
But are they named a full address? Because it's asking me to put everything in.
It is, but then it says that the address is insufficient, even though the full address is in.
So city, state, zip code, all of it.
Yeah, and then when if I have to select a client, it gives me 3 options, and none of those people are the client. They're from a totally different real estate deal completely. Is there a way just to not import that loop and do it? It's doing it for every loop. Oh, no.
Yeah, this one has a piece of the name. Here's the funny part. This thing says view on .loop. I wonder if you just click that, take you in the .loop, and you can make the adjustments and then go back and do it.
And I wonder if you skip this one, if there's a way to tell which one.
Oh, I am so not logging into that on my Docusign classes. Stop using it. All right, so the person in the chat who asked that question, are you having any of the difficulties that you're seeing that we're having right now? Because I will more than likely follow up with the market center based on what we're hearing on when it will be corrected, if it needs to be corrected. But it sounds like some things are needing to be corrected.
He didn't respond to that. That's something that we definitely should follow up on.
Okay. Yeah, I see chat. All right, so.
He says, yes, it wasn't even giving the option to review the loops that weren't importing. But
Okay.
not imperative at the moment.
Yeah. So what I would suggest for everybody, I'm actually just going to go into one that I'm working on right now, just so that you can actually see real work, not funny work. So this is something that I have under contract. By the way, this is probably not going to go away for a while since this changed. So I'm just gonna hit on my document. I'm gonna click on go to transaction. It's gonna take me directly to that room. I'm just gonna X out of this one. I want you guys to also notice that your command is still up. Just because you're navigating over to Docusign, in case you're click happy, like lots of people that I know, you did not leave command. Command is still there and available for you. And even down to the contact information, your navigation, I want to just remind you of it. I mean, I just closed it. Okay. Wait for it. Wait for it. Internet. So I set up my rooms with the photo of the property, the address, at least the first portion of the street name, the buyer or seller, however it's set up. And I am currently negotiating repairs, hoping to move forward, you know, and be done. But I want to show you, does everybody see this little red PDF? And then you see this little green thing. It actually, if you can't see it, it says sign. So while you're going through this minutia of forms, even though, because you can see that there's some duplicates, right? If you see two forms that are in here that are the same, they will put another one if you downloaded the same form, by the way. It will put it in there twice, but you see this little difference right here? And if there is a form in here that is fillable, Amy, that will be in blue, right? Did you discover that? And what that means is that if I select that, I'm gonna move some stuff around. If I select that form, this is me with the notification of repairs. And if I want to do anything to that form, like put in the details of the repairs, this is how I'm going to then do it. You cannot move to the next step until you select the form that you're working with. Is everybody with me? So once we've done that, add the form, and we've gone to Docusign forms and we've dropped those forms in there. Now I've got all my forms. This is the step that I'm on. Is everybody with me? Nod your head, scream, holler, shout, do your thing. So if I want to then move forward with the next form, and up here are some options. I want you to see that this menu doesn't appear until I select a form. So if you're able to follow me, drop something in there, select a form, notice this menu. If I deselect that, that goes away. So if you miss a step and you're just listening to me, it's going to be really hard to follow along if you don't select a form first. And then let's take a look at this menu. If I wanted a copy of this form, I don't know why I would want one. If I wanted to move this form, I have options on where to move it. If I wanted to just email it, if you already have a form that's signed, it is the easiest thing in the world to just email it directly from here. You don't have to make any changes. You do not email from command. Your emails are from Docusign. This is a really important point because I've had questions where everybody's not understanding that command is just where you park your documents. Docusign is where you're going to manipulate them, send them, you know, all of that other good stuff. Okay, so let's make a real important point about that. So if I wanted to send an email, let me just show you what it looks like, because this is exactly how I sent the notification of repairs to the other agent. And you will actually be able to see the document, and I'll show you. Oh, maybe I will. Just have to log into my email and then have to show you my email shame and all of that other good stuff. But it's super cute. I actually showed it to Alyssa yesterday when I sent her the response, how it comes up and goes over across the edge. It look all fancy. Kill, super kill. Yeah, it's not gonna remember anything. You would literally put the person's email in there. If you take a look up here, just so you know, this is a secure link. It will expire after 30 days. They will not have access to this document without opening it, downloading it, doing something with it. So like, I'm an email hoarder. You can delete this sucker after 30 days because you can't get into it anymore.
So it'll send them a link, and that link will allow them to go into Loop, or they can just download it directly.
It's just gonna send them to that form,
Okay.
into Docusign.
Okay.
And of course, just like Loop, it will probably encourage them to have a Docusign account. Right. So they may be able to manipulate the DocuSign, and just like other cooperating sales agents, they may choose to do that, they may not. They may choose to take a document, download it, put it in an Docusign or whatever system that they're using. So I would just put that person's email in there and then click send email. If you can see this right here, this is the actual document that I'm sending. You can change this message to whatever you'd like. I like to put in the property address and whatever the document is. But I really want to log in and show you guys.
So is it, when you send it to them, is it for them to sign and send back?
Correct, but it's gonna send them a suggestion, more than likely, to use DocuSign. They don't have to. It's gonna send that PDF attachment to the bottom of that email, and it's gonna be a clickable link in blue. Oh God, please sign in, please sign in right, please sign in right. Crap.
It's really nice how they see it, and not specifically, but just when you send documents, it'll
Oh my
say,
God, that's
please
what I'm trying
sign,
to pull up.
unless you change that subject line, and it has a button that says view document.
That says Jimmy Welch.
Click on it.
Where do you put their name?
Did you see that?
I mean, it's nice.
You saw that, right?
You don't have to put their name or drag.
I am not Jimmy. Stop looking at my email. Everybody stop looking at my email. All right, so FYI, everybody sees these room notifications. Don't look at my calendar. It's really busy. Yeah. All right, so everybody see this? I actually can see that my,
87,000?
okay, stop it.
Oh my God.
Get out of my shame. I'm an email tech rep.
Email.
I got
order.
another. Don't feel bad.
That's okay. I've been with KW since 2010.
Right,
That's what it looks like.
yeah, I got about 50,000 emails, yeah.
I don't have time to go through it.
Who does?
You don't have time to do all
I ain't got time for that. And as a matter of fact, guess what I can do? From 2012, all right then.
Delete.
Oh no, I can find it. Because somebody will call you. I'm telling
Yes,
you.
you're right.
You all know how this goes. Okay, so take a look at what's happened. So my client has viewed the document. See it? Loop didn't tell us that.
Well, you clicked on it, Doc.
You can click, you had to go in it.
Yeah, you're
You
right.
had to go in it. So how many times are you like sitting there going, okay, and you're texting your client, hey, did you get it? Did you get it? You know, I don't
I
know.
already signed it.
I don't need to do that anymore. Now, if I go back, look,
I got a question.
let's go.
Okay. So I'm probably making this more difficult than I need to be. So when I'm going in my document, so let's say I filled out this listing contract and I want to send it to my client. So in Loop, you had to actually drag you actually had to assign a signature, assign a.
Oh, girl, I'm about to blow your mind. Hold on, I'm getting there. Hold on, I'm getting there. Girl, what?
All right.
All right, so take a look here. Even though you have this button that says view completed document, which will take you out to view that completed document, it'll take you into Docusign, it'll take you into your room. You see that it's doing a thing now. This document is now complete. It's giving me my repair request. It's giving me my thing. I'm about to send it to this young lady that I'm doing this cross sale with. Ta-da! and now it's gonna take me back into my room. That's all cool. Let me just show you the last thing that went out. Docusign. What was yesterday? 25th?
26, or no, 25, you're right. One of them.
Okay, everybody's. Yeah, I can't stop share because then I won't be able to see the screen. Okay, everybody, just real quick, I just want to show you this. I know I could probably type in Docusign, but I have a lot of Docusign. Wait a minute. No, that's hers. See, she uses something called SkySlope. So she didn't use anything for from my Docusign. That's not it either. There it is. So when this goes over to someone and you put that property photo in there, look at how cool this is. Super professional, shows what documents are attached, gives them a link. And this is if you set up your profile in Docusign. This is why I was showing you the importance of that. Putting your photo, putting things in there. So when you send over an email, this is what it'll look like. So this was her replying to that email received. So this is the email that she got from that spot where I sent the email. This is what that looks like when it goes up. Kind of cool, right? One or more documents have been shared with you. Similar to .loop. Still gives all of the reminders that's similar, but ours, you know, are in there too. All right, so that's that. Let's go back to documents. Let's go back to his sign. Today is the 26th. I'm about to do some work while I'm in class, girl. Yeah.
And they say you can't multitask.
Watch me now. So this is the one he just signed. I'm gonna email that. Oh my God, I'm gonna go back and copy and paste her email. Anybody know Miss Ron? She seems pretty nice. Been cool so far. Oh, Docusign's gotta be a 2-hour class, I swear. I hit it twice, sorry, my bad. I know some of this is like watching paint dry, guys, I apologize.
So can you pick which one you want to go or both gonna go? You already selected both, so both are automatically.
Correct.
Okay. So you can go in and pick 1 or pick 5 or pick 10, whatever.
You can pick the whole thing.
You can pick the whole.
You can pick all of it.
Okay, that's awesome. Because like what I'm typically doing is downloading from .loop, then going into my email.
You're
then
about to
uploading,
say some. About to
downloading,
save it.
and then uploading.
Yeah. Be careful. This is already an edited document. All right, so hoops and giggles. Let's go back into my practice one. What did I say it was? 123 Main Street. So I'm gonna take a listing. I'm gonna list with listing. I'm gonna take a listing. I'm gonna bring my important document in, hold it. Okay, FYI, everybody stop looking at my Ohio stuff. 'Cause it's in there too. The only thing that I want to hear is stuff that is germane to, yeah, what happened was that I hit the Ohio document.
Oh, Molly. That's okay. You're showing us what it's like to have two market centers on there.
Yeah, okay, so I think I have everything, and if you have not noticed this, if you have a checklist, you can click the checklist, and if you miss something, you can add it later. So I'm gonna show you how to do that too. So I selected my document. I'm gonna create what's called an envelope, okay? Here's a couple little features up here. You see where this says combine? We'll go over that in a detailed class. Girl, there's some stuff. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and click create envelope. Wait for it, wait for it. Thank you all for being so patient on the Zoom. I know it's kind of boring on Zoom. One day we'll all be able to be together. The envelope name, if this is a listing, I would name this, whatever this is, listing document. You can say, please Docusign listing documents, or you can just say listing 123 Main Street, listing document.
Is this title for me, or is this when I go to send it? Like this is
So,
like I'm putting something in the
This is the envelope name. I'm scrolling down. We're going, we're going, we're going. Now, this is your email subject. All
So
right,
that's where we can say action required.
correct.
Sign here and blah, blah, blah.
As if you're putting a bunch of documents in an envelope and we're gonna mail it.
Isn't it cute? It's cute, right? It's cute.
I
We
would
like it,
put
don't you?
that together. Yeah.
All right, so here's the next important step. Who's participating in this? So from those details that we filled in earlier, see this thing that says pre-tag roles? If I click it, it should. So who normally fills out the lead-based paint? The seller, right? And who am I? I'm the seller. By the way, it's a little confusing, I know, because I'm also listed in here as the agent. No worries. When this brings up seller and buyer, it means that it's reading those forms that have those spots. This may not be what you need. Don't get confused by that part, okay? Use what you needed to use it for, and the other ones will not populate unless you've assigned them a value. So
Or like if you happen to have the seller and buyer, you could actually.
you could,
You could actually do it right.
girl, get that. That's what I'm talking about.
You could do it right. Okay.
So let's just use me as that. So we're doing a listing, we're doing a listing. Oh, look, client one, client two, look at that. And then who's the client be? Generally, the clients are found at the bottom of these drop downs, everybody. The market center and the agents and the brokers are all at the top. Your clients are gonna be way down at the bottom of the list. Just remember that, because a lot of times people go, I don't see my client. They're the last one on that list. So it's asking, and of course the broker will be signing this. I want to be real specific. Do you see this? To be specified by recipient, buyer agent to define. If you're going in to fill out a form, you can put a placeholder in for these things. So seller agent to define. So if that person wanted to use Docusign and they wanted to add a party on their side of things, foreseeably they could do that. So some cool stuff. We're not gonna get too rowdy. Agency relationships is the client. Yeah, I'm confusing. I'm the client. Yep. I'll think this through next time where
Wait a
I'm
minute.
not the client.
That's not Brad,
Oh, what was I on?
under listing broker one, listing broker two.
Oh, yep, you're right.
Where's
sorry.
Brad on this list?
Okay, Brad is not in the list. You have to add it.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. Here I come. All right, watch this. All right, so here I am in here twice. You can see my emails are different. I'm actually in here as a client and I actually made myself a listing broker, but I can change that. Okay, not right there. Hold it.
Where did you go to get?
Oh, it changed. I added them all and I clicked on add. So now my list of who's in this room comes up.
Yeah, once you assign that, that's when it takes you to where it pops in. Yeah. Well, and what she did, she got. Right, how did she get to that screen?
The very
First,
first,
once you finish that, you hit add selected, that's what takes you there. Oh, because it's in the background there, and so it's there. Right. And there was a question in the chat too, that when you assign, is it assigning it for the room in general, or is it for that specific form?
For that form.
Okay. So if they were to assign and they're in that one form or multiple forms that they're sending, and then they went back and had to do it again, it would ask them to choose the recipient again.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank goodness I remember my broker's email, right? All right, so I have all my participants in. Libby, you asked me about, just to fill out these things. So at the top, you click next. When you have all your room participants in, set up your email. You know how dot loop, sometimes you would send a form and you forget to send a form. This will also stop you from doing that because you didn't click on something and you forgot to send it and you had to send another one. So, oh, look at that, girl. All right, so Amy,
That's what you call them.
Oh my God. All right.
It only populated broker initials. That was from back on the, like when you were at that box that said choose the seller and all that, that was the only one you had checked. So that's your opportunity to choose like if it's a seller line. Oh yeah, you got it.
so we fill out these forms and then send them to sign it.
Amy.
Like
Amy, I see a
the
couple.
rooms and the bathrooms and stuff.
Yep, Amy, I see a couple of documents that we need to make sure.
Okay,
This is one of them.
which one? I feel like, well, that one only needs the signature though, doesn't it? No, well, the signature, I guess, from who signs it. Which one are you in? What's the blue? Was that the broker though? Because if it's not, if you needed to be the client, it should have populated.
Hold on, am I the client in purple?
That's what I'm saying.
No, no,
I
but
don't know which Lisa you're under,
but
but
it'll show, yeah, this is totally confusing. I'll never do this one again.
so the colors are gonna.
Correct. You see this part over here?
Separate people. Separate people. Okay, yeah. And so this should populate whichever one is actually the client.
Yeah, and it's not.
Okay.
It's
Well,
not any of
but then you hit the signature. Once you pick it, you get the signature and put it over there, correct? Like
Yeah,
that?
but you shouldn't have to do
Okay, you
it.
shouldn't have to do it.
The way that this is being set up, once you choose your role, you should not have to actually add anything. The listing contract is not live either.
listing contract.
Yeah,
So you just scrub it over there.
But she shouldn't have had to, but she would think
Right.
it should auto-populate for her.
right, that should be there. So in the event that this is all good and all of my documents, you know, are already tagged up, like, I know that, Amy, I swear I know that one of these is in here, it's populated. So it could just be how I screwed with this,
Yeah, because it's like, we don't know which Lisa, because there's 3 different Lisas.
right.
I'll go take a look.
So, don't, I'd rather you be in here, that's all good. So, in the event that, you know, this is all good, because I actually think the mix-up is not just with the leases, but with my, market centers. Because I did have another, and that's probably why Brad's name didn't show up in that document.
So you probably pulled their listing contract, yeah, because ours do have the templates, or the.
No,
interactive boxes.
it's not that, I think it's under KW Citywide, the whole room. Yeah, and I think I saw another market center name when I pulled up that drop down. That's why it's not jiving. So go over here. So, in the event that you guys, you had send, this will go to everybody.
My neighbors.
Good talk, good talk, good talk. And if I wanted to make sure that this is all showing up now. That's what I'm saying. I think this one is just screwed up. Let me do this. Start. Let me show you one that's accurate, because I don't want you guys to be confused, especially those of you who are on Zoom. Who was it? Uh-huh. I got nothing. Let's go back. Oh, let's get out of this room. That was what I was doing.
Hello. Oh, sure. Get that all off.
No, it's a side effect of the crash test dummies on when I create them too. Because that one I did last year. It's been some changes.
So is that ID number the ID number that Docusign assigns it?
Yep. You have no control over
Okay,
it.
that's fine. I just didn't.
So like if you had to call Docusign about something,
You have an ID.
you would have an ID number
Which
to
is
work.
nice. You have something you can.
So let's see, seller. Okay. So that pulled in the address, pulled in everything but the contract date. And then it's got, yep. Okay, so it's working.
Yeah, the interactive boxes are there, and then the signatures will be pulled in with the pre-tax.
It's working. This is, guys, this is just a preview, by the way. If you see screens that look like that with a save and close, it will actually allow you to edit in that field. Do not, it's not doing anything. If you haven't opened up a secondary screen, it's just not there, but it's allowing you to see that it's editable.
So they actually need to click on that circle and then hit the create offload for that pin
In order to, yeah.
to be able to fill out and prepare your document.
Skipping steps. There's my client all the way at the bottom of the list. Yeah, I don't know who Mary Kay is, but there's citywide, but there's Lisa. No, I have everybody. So select your document, name your envelope, make sure your people are in there, create your email message and email subject. Once all of that is done, click next. And wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Now, this particular form requires text, right? And a lot of it. Text. This is very similar to dot loop, minus, instead of me clicking on here and then typing, I'll type in that box. If I want my buyer to be able to not make changes to that text, I want you to take a look over here where this says required field, you will click on read only so that they cannot make that change.
So that's automatically untracked.
That is automatically
Sweet.
unchecked.
Right.
So just to be honest, if you sent this over and this is yellow, that means he can touch it. So, but you see that this automatically populated. Amy, I did mean to send you a note about this. I don't know, that's a wild text box in there. It just needs to come out.
So when you go back up on
It's
contract,
on the
date,
notification of repair.
when the contract date still didn't come up, did you put that in there manually?
Yep, and you're gonna use a text box to do that as well.
So every form you use text box. To fill in every form you use that text box.
If you are doing free, like this one is form specific. So like the seller disclosure, it's gonna come up with all of those boxes to check or to add text. You're gonna assign that to the seller, and you're gonna send that on. You're gonna have to do any of it. This is for if you need to manipulate a form. So this one is one that's more our side. So we're negotiating our repairs. We're gonna put in our list of demands to the seller. And then we're gonna send that off to our buyer, and then we're gonna send that off to the other cooperating agent.
While you're on seller's disclosure, it's good for people to know too, that when you first pull over that form, it's only going to give you as the agent the ability to fill out the top part, because legally we are not supposed to be filling out the seller's disclosure. And you might look down and you might see that there's no check boxes at the yes, no, and unknowns. But if you were to send yourself a test one, you're going to see if you assign like a random buyer or seller one, by the time it gets to your seller, those check boxes are there. So if you see that seller's disclosure and you think there's no check boxes, you don't have to go in and add them. It's just not going to allow you as the agent to fill it out. And that's to keep you protected, really. But if you were, because I sent that to myself just to test it, and sure enough, it had the check boxes there once I got to the seller part.
There's a bunch.
Well, if you
sign
sign it, yeah, that they're supposed to.
you have them sign.
Yeah.
So the rooms, that room, where you put in the rooms, how many dads, we fill that out and then send it to them to sign. They don't have
You're talking about the input form.
input form.
Yeah, you can do that. Actually, never mind. I'm glad. Good talk. Permission instead of forgiveness instead of permission.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay. So anyway, if you're looking at the envelopes, you can see that all of these have been completed. Let's see. The repair counter. This was I think this is the offer. And you'll always be able to go back and look at these in a PDF format. You see where it says 7 pages. It's taking forever to download, but this is everything, okay? And I'm surprised that not in the chat. The one thing that I'm still gonna tell everybody, DocuSign will get there. It will get there to where it's doing contract effectively without you having to do everything. The fastest way to write a contract is still in transaction desk directly from Flex. Fastest way to write a contract, again, the fastest way to write a contract is still directly from Flex using transaction desk. It's the only place that we have right now that will populate all of the information without you having to, number one, toggle between it and find it. Because that, if you look at the bottom of my form right here, that's where it came from. And I dropped that sucker into Docusign. Yes, ma'am.
So once everything's fine, you still have to download that and drive it over to me, or will it
Heck no, girl, I'm glad you asked.
be populated?
Gee, I'm so glad you asked. Look. Okay, so I actually have a tab here that says all sales contracts. Can you see this on the screen? See the seller disclosure? There's my signed document. I can actually click on it and see it in Command right now. Because Command and Docusign are connected. Remember I said that? And so both my buyer and sellers, this is for compliance, right? So the only thing I want are my fully executed documents. That's the only thing I want to see in here. So if I wanted to add, let's just say there was a lead-based paint. Everybody take a look at the screen. So remember you said right now you're downloading, you're uploading, you're moving around, you're shaking. So look at that.
Look at that, you just pull it.
Oh, look at it, girl. I could even search it if it were actually in there, but there is nothing.
So yeah, the downloading and uploading, this will just, it'll just pull it directly over.
So let me just show you how that works with the wrong form, and then I'll take it out. And now it's in there. Okay, done. Okay, I will need to replace that. Malik, don't kill me.
You better.
Seems like there would be a remove.
But yeah, it there used to be, and then they changed it. Okay, and everybody, real quick, I don't know if you saw this. This actually had the approval status on it. Yeah, it was green. That's for compliance. Once you guys go under contract and you have everything and you're moving forward, you should submit this to the market center as soon as possible by clicking on the button that says submit to MC. See this? Avoid delay on approval, ensuring that all documents are accurate. Contact your MC if you have any questions. Click on submit. I'm gonna have to run down and talk to you. All right, and then you see the status here says resubmitted. All right, I am aware of the time and I know that this is gonna take longer than an hour to get. Please click on the calendar link if you all would like. Amy has got that posted in the Facebook group
And on the weekly emails.
and on the weekly email. I've got 3 days, 2 hours a day. It will not take that long if we do one-on-one, seriously. The group setting is usually harder to manage, but ask me specific questions. Bring your specific questions. I want to know how you want to run your business, and I want to know what makes it easier for you. Do we have any questions that we can fit in the next 5 minutes? Let's go.
What's your email?
Oh, that's Amy.
Just pick one.
Lisa Warfield at kw.com. It was actually on the screen. Yes, ma'am.
You talked about filling out the contracts in transaction desk requests. Is there an advantage to doing it that way as opposed to just filling out the documents in DocuSign? mean, I know with contracts, it'll autofill for you,
everything though.
but even on
Agent
listing,
details, no. Offline for what I was gonna tell you about. Yeah, I'm not.
okay,
I'm not on the court, no.
you got it. Yeah. You got it.
Forgive me. Not permission. All right, but as far as it goes with flex, and if you've been into transaction desk and Docusign once, get your contract from there. You can grab your contract, you can even grab your seller disclosure while you're in there and the web-based pay and do one download all at the same time. Drop that into Docusign. Docusign actually still has the ability to read where it says buyer, and it will drop the initials on that form.
So in order to get that document in, sorry, I'm probably asking you really one-on-one here. But
It's
if
okay, you know where I am.
Okay, so I'm going to documents
Mm-hmm.
and I say add.
Mhm.
Okay, I see, I can add it right from my computer. So I just,
Oh, yeah,
I
there
can
is
just
a
download
menu.
them from
Correct.
transaction desk and then just upload it there.
Yes, ma'am. Did everybody understand what she was talking about? Because we kind of skipped over it, the menu itself. We should have a class on template, after we get everybody in. I think that's a separate class.
So you don't have to do all your forms under command. You can still do them on flex and then pull them over.
Remember, get them signed in Docusign. If you do nothing else, just one step towards, if you're already using Docusign, especially those agents that I have using Docusign on a high level, you're really using the same thing. So let's see if we can merge it to get you moved over. The best way that I can transition you, you're gonna write a contract, you're gonna use, because I've always used it. I use flex to .loop. So I dropped it right into .loop. After I did that, added the initials and kept it moving. This is gonna be the same way, except this has some AI to it. So it's gonna start doing things that weren't possible in .loop. It's gonna start reading our forms based on the details that we put in the room. It's coming, not here yet, it's coming. Because what I want you guys to be at least immersed 15 minutes a day, find something new about command that you didn't know. Check out a video, make sure you're involved in the Facebook groups, at least listening, seeing something about it. Guys, I pulled up a document that I created for my team about the applet, about what command looked like in 2019. It was literally a green and white screen with 6 applets. I have it in, actually,
The baby phase, the infancy phase.
yeah.
And speaking of teams, Scott Leroy has a webinar tomorrow at 1. And those webinars, if you go to slmwebinar.com, those are interactive. And that means you can ask questions, you can engage.
But I can tell you, you guys always want to put those, especially if they're webinars, pause them, do what they just did. That's how you use video. Everybody always thinks they have to sit, they have to watch. No, you don't. Pause it, do it, continue. Pause it, do it, continue. That helps you retain what you're hearing. Because we're hearing it, we're getting it, but we're not applying.
Yeah, I do that too. So I pause and do it, then it becomes a memory.
Correct. Correct.
And those are the ones that are uploaded to their YouTube channel, but the
Oh,
1
yeah.
o'clock, that
Oh,
is
no,
actually
those are live.
interactive. Those are
Look, those
live.
are live.
I like live and I like video, because if I want questions answered right now.
Then you can put them in the
I
chat.
can get-
Okay, I hope everybody got something today. I know it's pretty hard. I have just kind of adapted a different style of teaching because things are more fluid. I hope that you got something out of this, and remember where I am if you need help. again, 3 times a week, couple hours a day, Wednesday. I think I have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday are my days that I have for everybody. Okay?
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, you are welcome.
Bye, Zoom land.
I know, bye Zoom.
You can hit stop share down there and then,
Hey Peach, how y'all doing? Look at Kevin. Hey Kevin, bye.
he did the applause.
Thank you,
I like that.
bye-bye.